Could you have your girlfriend caddy for you at a professional level? Lee Westwood,
Yeah.
obviously second,
Mm-hmm.
took away a huge amount of money. Do you think, and it sounds like a mad question to ask this, do you think he would be happy or disappointed with his last 2 weeks of performances and results?
Depends. If you said to him before these 2 weeks, you're going to come, what's he come second
Second
and
and second.
I didn't know if he'd finish second in the end or not, but yeah, second and second. I'm sure he'd take it.
Yeah.
But if you said he was in the final pair in both weekends and he's not won either, you'd probably be disappointed, wouldn't you? And it was like, do you remember the other week when we did the podcast when we said about him winning a major, will he ever do it now because of that pressure? Was that kind of the same thing, do you think?
Yeah,
You
he
know,
didn't play well yesterday.
What did he actually shoot on the day? Was
I
it
think he
level
actually shot
in the
one
end?
under or level.
So he's not completely fluffed it, but that's the thing. That's that next gear of shooting a 4 under, shooting a 5 under, cementing it.
Yeah. It was sketchy. I know he shot level par, but it was very, very sketchy. The way he put his round together, he clung on all the way around. It wasn't good golf. I'd love to know how many fairway bunkers he found off the tee, because he considering I said how good the forgiving the Ping G425 driver is, he wasn't making it look very forgiving yesterday, and he put it in so many fairway bunkers, but managed to kind of putt well, actually, which is not Lee Westwood's kind of favourite area.
You know what shot really confused me, and you might know better than me on this, I'm sure you will, but on 16, when his second one went into that kind of, it was a bit kind of semi-plug, but not really, and he kind of hit like an actual bunker shot out. I thought, I mean, I might be talking nonsense here, but an 8-iron bump and run, exactly, almost just chip it out, give it some forward momentum, let it follow the kind of fairway and roll up towards, I mean, he made par, it wasn't a disaster.
I thought that.
But that was, because it was just like a bunker shot, and it was like, well...
You couldn't go up. So if you didn't see it, Lee Westwood, after his second shot, hit it left of 16. There's like a tree inside, like a rough bunker. It's not like a proper pristine bunker, and he got a bit of a dodgy lie. So he couldn't go high because the tree was blocking him. He had water behind the green. He had a bunker on the front right, and like I say, he just tried to play this like kind of like normal bunker shot, where back of the stance, little chippy 8-iron, I think would have worked a lot better.
That's what I thought, but
is that potentially? And I want to come on to this topic very quickly, because I want to ask you a question here. Do you think that's potentially where a more senior, experienced caddy might have given him that advice?
I don't know. It's easy to say yes, but surely someone like him who's been playing golf at that level for 20-odd years or whatever knows a shot in his head. He knows the risks, the rewards. It's not like it's an amateur who needs the advice and saying, look, play this shot. He must have felt that was the best option. And whether the lie looked worse in real life, maybe he couldn't get an 8-iron behind it. But it just looked like it was almost, for me, a chip out the trees shot, wasn't it? A bit of a back foot 8-iron, just dig at it and let it just hop out. But
question for you.
Go on.
And I want you to ask me the same question. Could you have your girlfriend caddy for you at a professional level? I spoke about this with my wife this morning. She loves the romantic story about Lee Westwood and his fiancée caddying for him. But I said to her, could we do that?
I've got a question for you, then I'm going to throw it back at you. I saw something online that was really good about people who've been slagging off Harry Diamond, who's Rory's best friend, on the bag, and saying he needs a professional caddy. What is a professional caddy? As far as that, there's no caddy school, is there? You don't get a caddy degree. No. You don't do 3 years at caddy. So what is it? You know, Harry Diamond, I don't know the lad. I think I've been at events where he's been before. I think he was a +4 or 5 golfer. You know, massive golfer in that county where Rory's from. Obviously can play golf to a ridiculous standard. He's one of his best friends. He's done pretty well with him on the bag, hasn't he? I know he's not won as much as he would have liked to. But Lee Westwood's not having his wife on the bag just for a jolly at this level, is he? If he was retired or something, if he was like on the seniors tour playing the odd event here and then, it was just a bit of a, she come for a bit of a holiday, she must know a lot.
Well, I'm not one second questioning that he shouldn't have her on the
You're
on
asking
the
the question.
I'm asking you personally. The reason why, first off, I've heard him say this. He was on Eric Anders Lang podcast the other week, and he rotates between 3 caddies, as we know. When I went down to Wentworth with him, and I got chatting. So he has his fiancée, who's soon to be his future wife. He has his son, who's like a 20-year-old lad, I think, and then he does have a professional caddy, quote unquote, somebody he's used in the past, but he kind of rotates between the 3 of them. Now, he mentioned this was something really interesting. Let's talk just on his fiancée at the moment. He said something like, what he loves about it at the moment, his fiancée she's called Helen, she just carries the bag. That is literally all she'll do, and that's not taking any disrespect from her. That's just what he wants her to do. She doesn't give him advice. He does all of his own yardages. He does all of his own judgments. He just asks for a 7-iron off her and she'll give a 7-iron and she'll clean the clubs. I mean, I love the romantic side. He still rakes all the bunkers, which I really like. But on what he said, and this is a really good line, he would rather be 100% committed to a decision, to the wrong decision. Right. This was it. He would rather be 100% committed to the wrong decision than 80% committed to the correct decision.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is he can be 100% committed to his decision.
She's not had any interference with it.
Nobody has. No caddy. It's his decision. So he can take that club and he can be 100% committed. Where when you have got a caddy, and even in my little limited experience having a caddy, if a conversation between two players, a caddy and a player, and you say, well, actually, what about like a little 3/4 8-iron here? Yeah. And in my head, I'm thinking 9-iron. Well, you might persuade me to hit that 3/4 8-iron thinking it's the right shot, but then I'm not fully committed to that as the player.
Does it depend on, though, as well as what you see a caddy as?
Yeah.
So, for example, let's picture a lad, he's 20 years old, he's been the world #1 amateur, and he turns pro and he's on the PJ Tour. In my opinion, I might be wrong, but you'd imagine that the caddy, let's say they get an established caddy who's been around the block, whatever, that caddy is giving them distances and, club selections, etc., window, that kind of stuff. But they're also probably, not in every case, but you'd imagine, going to give them a bit of an arm around the shoulder when they're coming out that final stretch. They might put a little bit of wisdom in the rear every now and again, or, just relax. They've seen it a million times before. But for someone like Lee Westwood, who's been a pro for, 25 years, whatever it is now, more even, he's dealt with bar winning a major, dealt with every situation. So he doesn't need a caddy, I wouldn't imagine, whispering down his ear, relax, breathe, all that. He's probably going to do his head in. Like you said, he wants to know what he's doing is his choice, and if he hits a bad shot, like that bunker shot, that wasn't the worst mistake in the world.
But it was his.
He chose that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but then again, you could say Tiger was the most driven, kind of confident athlete probably ever, but yet Steve Williams was such a massive part of that, wasn't it? They worked as a team. So,
I think if you were looking at a caddy, let's say you are new on tour and you had a choice of caddies between your best mate, who, and this is, let's say you're 19 and you've just made it on tour, your best mate, you think, it'd be great to travel the world with him. He doesn't really know loads about caddying, professionally caddying, or someone that's been around the block, a Billy Foster or a Steve Williams or someone like that, or a, Steve Brotherhood, who we did a podcast with. At that time in their journey, that experienced caddy could be the biggest game changer for him, because it'll give him so much knowledge and, like I said, the arm around the shoulder and the experience around different golf courses and everything else, against, like I said, the newbie. But I think once you get more experience, like Rory, like Westwood, it doesn't matter who carries your bag.
Well, they're the ones who they know, don't they? At the end of the day, can I ask you a question?